This is sickening. Like, you never saw, as often as you do now, comments like this pre-2020 COVID era. But now, ever since COVID, and ever since you had anime blow up and become a lot more popular and a lot more accepted, you have seen just more and more stuff like this. The fact that this post has 800 likes, and if you go and search it up, it is still up right here. This account is still active, and it's not been terminated or anything, is absolutely insane to me. But what's even more insane is just how this all started. This all starts from minor brief edits of Sanji that Toei changed in its latest episode. And it's crazy just seeing the reaction from a lot of these individuals that think it's okay not just to say stuff like this, but to go out of their way and even harass well-known animators like Ishitani that works on One Piece, Ishitani that worked on the fan letter special, episode we had like a few months back. These people are parasites. They are sick. They are gross. These people need to be called out. They are vile, and anything they latch onto, literally, they just bring devastation to the community and the industry. It is what has happened to, for instance, the gaming industry, and now it seems like it is now happening to the anime and manga industry. I absolutely am sick to my stomach just seeing how widespread you see some of these comments, how these people are acting, thinking it's a-okay to just straight up not just wish threats and unalive threats against animators or Toei and wanting another Kyoto Animation. Yeah, I legitimately saw people wishing for another Kyoto Animation incident on Toei. It is insane. It's insane how many people are legitimately doing stuff like this. These people don't deserve anime. Honestly, they need to be locked up in an asylum. It is absolutely gross. But let's get right into this. What is this? Where did this all start? Where did this all begin? Let's get into the full context. But obviously, even with the context, it does not give any form of just like reason to do comments like that. There is no reason, no business ever to ever do anything like that. And I'm just going to straight up call it out because it is sickening, this Sanji drama that's happened. And honestly, I want to point something out. I think Pookie Piece here really points this out very, very well. Imagine if Oda had a Twitter account. The amount of harassment he would get would be absolutely insane, because imagine what Horikoshi has had to deal with just in this last week alone. Imagine what Oda, one of the most popular authors of all time, would have to deal with. I mean, hell, you go into Horikoshi's comment, you will see instantly some people trying to call him out and all that, at least address the uproar you started. Obviously, they're getting ratioed, but it does not change the fact. You see a lot of people still upset about him just drawing his own characters, his characters he breathed life into. So, the fact that, you see this happen to Horikoshi, I cannot imagine the scale of harassment that someone like Oda would get if he had an official account that he actively, was on. Which gets into, Ishitani. Ishitani, that is an animator at Toei that has worked with the staff of Toei and, is working on a lot of different things for One Piece and a bunch of other animators. They are currently being harassed by people because of some of the slight changes that happened in the latest One Piece episode. So now that I've sandbagged, let's actually get into what happened. So basically, in the, anime, there is, this individual makes a thread trying to pretty much justify what they did, and to be fair, there's nothing wrong with critiquing the scenes, etc. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but this critique has obviously evolved way beyond criticism into just straight up harassment of animators, staff, studio. You get the point. But basically, this thread does point out the changes, and the changes are pretty much minor to very huge, and some of the changes in general is just how Sanji is depicted. For instance, in the anime, the latest episode, Sanji just gets knocked out like it's nothing, while in the manga, he just tanks it like it's nothing. And obviously, a lot of people are drawn to conclusion that apparently, Toei and the staff absolutely hate Sanji. And I think Henry here really puts it in a very good way. Can't believe I have to say this, but there's not a single anime production where the staff hates a certain character and sabotages their scenes. Certain animators might request specific scenes and not others, but the directors try their hardest to make the whole thing good. Basically, these people thinking that Toei and these animators have a vendetta or grudge against Sanji are 100% just in pure copium. That's not happening at all. But obviously, yes, there has been changes to Sanji's scenes. And I can see to a degree why some would be slightly upset with that. But once again, the amount of harassment is not warranted. It's never warranted, for clarification. But, yes, it pretty much all stems from Sanji simping for Bonnie a little bit. You see him heart-eyesing Bonnie instead of heart-eyesing Nami. You know, they removed him from a shot that happened in the latest episode. You can see he's not in the background holding pancakes, but in the anime, he's not even there. So, a lot of people are a little bit upset. They feel very targeted, etc. And, once again, criticism is fine. I think that's completely a-okay. But, once again, I want to reinstate, it's devolved into just nothing but harassment and threats. That's all it is. I mean, there is literally people that are actually threatening to send them, like, things in the mail. You know what? Let me show you. As you can see here, we have stuff like even this on display because of the changes that Sanji had. And the fact that, once again, there is multiple, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of posts like this. I miss when anime and manga was niche, man. I really do. At least niche in the West. But thanks to COVID, obviously, we're never going to go back to that era. We won't. These people have put on anime and manga like a meat suit, like a skin suit, and they're trying to act like they've always been here or they know better, but in reality, they don't. As I said earlier on in the video, it's parasites. They're legitimately parasites. They feed and destroy where they go, and then they straight up, once they're done, you know, feeding on the husk that remains, they move on to the next. And that's what's happened with a lot of different media, you know, in the last few years, actually last decade, once again, the gaming industry, you know, and all that. So, just seeing this, it makes me just so upset. And it's always just these shonen fans, too, man. Like, I don't want to, like, congregate all shonen fans together. I really do not want to. But there is a pattern. There is. It's always these people that either come into mainstream shonen, either One Piece, Naruto, Dawn to Dawn, Chainsaw Man, Bleach, Demon Slayer. You see these shonen fans come in, and they are just super toxic, because obviously they jumped on these series because they're what's popular. They're what everybody talks about, and so they don't want to dive a layer deeper into anime and manga culture, because obviously it is, weird to them, and they don't want to be socially outcasted or anything like that, or they think they'll be socially outcasted, so they stick to what is acceptable by the common general people within the world, aka the West, because obviously anime has always been viewed weird, but nowadays in the last, 5 years or so, it has been seen a little bit more acceptable. And this is why I say gatekeeping is important, because you get stuff like this. We never saw stuff to this degree as we did 6 years ago. 6 to 7 years ago, you never saw this. You might have saw a sporadic comment or two, but not as widespread. Like, anytime anything happens nowadays, you see stuff like this. It is mentally ill people that have continuously managed to get a platform and allow to do stuff like this, and build these echo chambers to allow stuff like this to happen, where they can get credibility or happiness, because it's like, oh look, I got 800 likes on this, clearly people agree with me, clearly I'm in the right. It's gross, man. It's really gross. I'll leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all have a good day. Love you. Be safe. Chibi outs.